Alright, so this is Waltz here. I'm doing a VOD review from my man Captain Casual. He submitted this VOD review saying that he wanted help on his soldier play. And just a quick note before we start that this is actually on console. So this is console play, as you can tell by the buttons down here in the corner. This is on the PS4, I believe. So they're just talking in comms, and my man, you don't talk in comms. I don't know if you don't have a mic or something, but that's definitely something that you probably should do moving forward. I'm gonna talk about that a little more in terms of like you communicating with your team. But yeah, so I mean, team comp wise, I think you guys have two tanks, two healers, two DPS, so it's pretty solid 2-2. I think you guys have a Winston instead of a Reinhardt, so that makes things a little bit difficult. But in terms of console play, let's talk about that first real quick. I'm not a console player, but I'll do my best. For those of you guys out there who don't know, I'd say the biggest difference between console and PC is probably just the speed of things. So the speed of like aiming, movement, things like that. And that actually obviously does affect other in-game decisions like positioning and like other decisions that you make in the game. So just a quick heads up, and of course I'm a PC player, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, but I will do my best keeping all of those things in mind. So you guys are holding up high ground, which is great, and then you guys drop down for some reason, which is pretty unfortunate, but I mean your whole team for some reason dropped down, I don't know why. But you hear a lot of headshots here, the ting ting tings, that's what I like to hear. So I can tell that your crosshair placement is fine, your aiming is fine, pretty much throughout the duration of this video. And here the Genji comes in like clockwork. And this is beautiful right here, nice shot. Okay, so you're doing a good job of pressuring, just using the cart. And your Zarya is dead, and this is probably the time where your team should be like, hey guys, let's start to back out. But the monkey decides, no, let's go in harder, and pays the price with his life. So you guys lost two of your tanks too. So this is where you guys would be like, we're getting outie, and then you lose your Genji and you lose your Mercy. So you're basically alone at this point, and there's not much you could do, to be honest. So I feel like I'm trying to point out mistakes, and this was like kind of your mistake because you're part of the team. Maybe you could have helped shot call that, like, hey guys, let's back up now. We lost one. Let's just regroup. We have time before they reach the checkpoint. But then this trickling thing just happens, and it's no bueno. All right, so Lucio lost the beat. You guys lost one or two now, I believe, and you guys are just down and scattered. Another person died, and this is just not good. It's not good. If I were you guys, I'd probably back up. Okay, using this high ground here is talking about your play. Using this high ground here, great. Building is your best friend right here, high ground. Unfortunately, you get knocked down, and okay, let's pause right there. So really quick thing, really quick tip. I don't know if you knew, but a lot of people don't know this, but Lucio ult actually goes out in waves. So even if Lucio pops ult and you don't see him line of sight, if after like half a second you like line of sight him and you're in distance, you actually get the Lucio ult. So that's actually what happened right here. So as soon as you hear Lucio ult, like as a DPS player, as a soldier player, as a Pharah player, as a DPS player, like I always keep this in mind. Whenever I hear Lucio ult for the first like second or so, even if I don't see him, I'm trying to get line of sight of him. And that actually has helped me get Lucio ult a lot of times where otherwise I wouldn't have gotten Lucio ult. So let's look at that really quickly. So you hear, let's break it down, and then thankfully I think you like peeked this line of sight right here just in time, which is good. So as soon as that happened, it's kind of like, oh, we should fight this. Like the next few seconds is like your golden opportunity to turn this around, even though your Mercy just died. Unfortunately, your Lucio was a little late on that. You shouldn't be going into this building. You shouldn't. The D.Va's pressuring you, but where's your team? Your team's this side. And you still have Lucio ult going on. So I don't understand why you're running this way. Like you ran this way when it was a 1v1 between you and the D.Va, and you don't want to be in tight corners with another tank. Usually in 1v1 situations, especially when you see this thing going on. So you run away, which is good. You should be running away. Pop your heal station, dude. Okay, you want to take this high ground, that's fine. That's actually really good, actually. And you do this. So here I want to talk about your ult. It's good, but you're just fighting a winning. You're fighting a losing battle right here because you only see your Winston and there's no one else. So I would say in terms of this decision, it's fine that you pop your ult, but the reason you died isn't because you did anything wrong here. That's the I think that's the kind of story that I'm trying to tell you throughout this whole video. That obviously you're trying to look for help and ways to improve, and I'm here to do that best I can. But in terms of what you're doing, to be honest, you're not doing the wrong things per se, but I think you're doing the right things maybe at the wrong time, making them the wrong things maybe. So here it's 2v1, automatically just back out. Like against D.Va Genji, there's like very slim chance you're winning that. So the reason I say that is because you're doing the right things in terms of like, you know, you held high ground, you went for the flank with your ult, you actually got 2 kills with it. But that fight was just probably losable. Like you guys are probably gonna lose that to begin with, only because of all the trickling that happened. So starting here, you guys should probably group up and just chill. You guys already lost the Zarya player, and now you lose the Mercy. So even here, this is what I'm talking about. So you saw that your Mercy was getting pressured, but a lot of times in this video, you actually, so you do a really good job of fighting in terms of what the enemy is doing and where the enemy is and positioning in terms of that. But you really got to pay attention a little more to what's happening to your own team, because even if you do so much work, you're getting all the goals, you're doing so much damage to the other team, it doesn't mean that much if your team is dead half the time, and that's really what is going on right now. So when the Winston jumps on your Mercy, and your team is talking about it in comms, like, hey guys, like, the Mercy keeps on complaining, like, Winston's on me, D.Va's on me, like, Winston's on me, he's on my D, like, get him off. Like, that's your responsibility, dude. As like the primary DPS, like, you guys have a Genji, so you're, oh, not anymore, not a Genji, but you guys have Pharah. Oh, you guys had a Genji, so you guys have Genji Pharah, which is like more of a flanker than you are. So leave it to them to try to put pressure on the card. So right here too, this is what I'm talking about. If I had to say it, I think you're tunnel visioning here, because you see a lot of enemies. So you see 2 people dead already. This is the situation. It's a 4v6. You're thinking, what am I supposed to do here to make the most impact? And here, this moment right here, 2 huge tanks jump on you. What do? It's a 4v6. Oh, actually heroes just got res, so it's a 6v6, but still, 2v1 situation. Are you winning that? Nah. Okay, so here your Mercy actually comes to save you, and she saves your life. You would have died here 100% if she didn't. But you run away here to try to save yourself, which is fine. But then you see the Winston follows and kills the Mercy. Yeah, so you can, in one way, you can actually say that you killed the Mercy. You killed your own Mercy by putting her in that precarious situation. So you want to think about ways not just to kill the enemy, but also to best support your supports, or play with your team, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this is unfortunate. They just res the people who died. You guys are probably down a few. You got a good kill on McCree. That's really good. So here you're probably thinking about, where can I pop ult? And you dying is really unfortunate. In that kind of losing situation, I probably would have tried to help out Winston. But again, all of this is really just, I think, fighting a losing battle if you guys are always losing your supports. There's a lot of trickling that happens. Thankfully, you guys have spawn advantage, so you really need to be utilizing that as much as possible. Like if you lived before, if you like ran away a few seconds earlier or something and then just waited for your team to come in, you could have maybe been like here on high ground or something with your ult, or like, I don't know, like here or something, or here. There's like high ground over here. But here, maybe I would have gone for that person up top first. I don't know if he would have hit, but get a kill on Lucio, which is good. But here, I want to talk about who can counter you. So when you're using your ult, so obviously you're coming out of spawn thinking about, like, when can I use my ult? And like, how do I use this the most? So think about who's on the other team. D.Va. So this is talking about ult usage, ult managing. There's a D.Va who can eat up your shots, a Winston bubble, and the Genji deflect. And the funny thing is, in this clip, everything happens. The D.Va's eating you up, there's the Winston bow right there protecting everyone, and the Genji deflecting you. Unfortunate. Yeah, so it's hard because I feel like that was kind of like a desperation ult, like I'm just trying to get like a kill or two, and you get a kill on the Lucio, but it's hard. There are a lot of counters to you, and you really need to be playing with your team, communicating with them. Hey guys, I'm gonna use my ult right now. Mercy, can you pocket me, or can you guys help get D.Va out of mech, or at least keep her occupied? Here at this point, I probably would have. It's already over. Like it's just you and Mercy coming out, and yeah. Actually, in like best case scenario, it's winnable, but yeah, that's just unfortunate. You were caught out of position there. I probably wouldn't have spent so much time because that D.Va was actually doing a really good job of not just. She wasn't trying to kill you. She was just trying to keep you occupied, and that's the biggest thing because that D.Va. So her team's right there. You're right here alone. See, obviously, there's McCree coming that you don't know about, which is understandable. But at the same time, you're so separated from your team, and that D.Va isn't killing you, but she's just keeping you occupied, and that's the biggest thing. If you primary DPS aren't doing that much, then it'll be really hard for your team to get kills up at cart. So you have to think about ways that you could have been with your team to try to help them out at that point. Because that Mercy, your Mercy Cocoa Puffs, man, is getting cucked pretty hard. Okay. So here, right here, like you 100% should not have gone out. I think you just charged ult there, and you do this later also, where in this situation, look at this. Your team is basically all dead. Your Lucio is about to die, and your Lucio just died. Okay, so here at this point, every single person on your team just died. There's 4 or 5 or 6 right here. Can you 1v4? No. No. It's not happening. So here, like, okay, I understand maybe you wanna like just assess the situation. Maybe they're all one bar or something, but don't back out this way when you're up against 4 people. You wanna be able to back out this way. So you coming out this way means you're dead. And you didn't really do much there besides charging like that Mercy or Lucio ult. Okay, so moving forward a little bit. Okay, so just to like recap this stuff, like positioning, yes, but going deeper into it, think about where you are in relation to your team. So here you hear the monkey jump like a second before the Winston. You hear the jump on your Mercy, and you actually do the right thing here. So this is an example of doing the right thing at the right time. And what happens? Your Mercy dies, and it's unfortunate. It's just one of those cases where you actually did do the right thing. You jumped on the monkey as soon as he jumped your back line, but you were the only person who did, and your Mercy, I think, was already lit or something. She died really quickly. I think she could have been in a better position just to like escape or something, but this is actually a good play. It's a good play because other times, like when the tanks would dive on your backline, you really didn't do so much, but because the monkey was right there, I think you decided to help out, which is good. That's what you should be doing. Here I want to talk about real quick. Let's look at this. So you go after the Winston. Here I want to talk about your healing stations. I think in general, soldiers don't use their healing stations enough. Like you have like a huge like a really small cooldown on it actually, because it starts cooling down as soon as you put it down, and it stays up for like a good few seconds. So you can actually use it a lot more than a lot of people think. So here it's obviously on cooldown, but here you try to fight the Winston, which is like okay, he's in your backline, but as soon as that comes off cooldown, and it just came off cooldown, like just put it down, like right now. Put it down, reload, and that should sustain you. That should sustain you. And again, I don't know why you're backing up into this tight space. Especially because he has ult, but even if he didn't have ult, like, I don't know if you noticed, but Winston jump actually does damage twice. First on his jump, and second time on his impact. So you don't want to be near him when he jumps and when he lands. But in a tight space like this, especially with ult, when he could jump like every 2 seconds, literally, is just like game over. Like he'll be doing constant like burst damage to you, and there's no way to survive that. But you might have been able to survive that if you did two things. One, put down your healing station a lot faster, which in general you should just do all the time. Like as soon as there's even danger of you being hit on, um, not sexually but physically. Like if there's any danger at all, like even if you're not being hit on at the moment, just like put it down. And second of all, positioning, backing into that corner. You don't want to be a soldier. You don't like tight closed spaces. I'm trying to think of a situation where you would. No. No. You like medium far-ish, medium-ish, far-ish range against most heroes. That's your soldier range. Like right here. You're a little bit close to Lucio, but that's fine. So here you're in flashbang range. You just got flashed. This is where you don't want to be. Your Mercy's getting flanked so hard, but you've run away. And Mercy's probably going to die, and you're probably going to die. That was a kind of a desperation ult also. I probably would have tried to get high ground, and I feel like you kind of just popped that hoping something would happen. But it was hard. It was just really chaotic there. You probably should have been more with your team, try to restore the order and the chaos. So at this point, it's just over. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, so let's go back there again. So right here, again, 3 people died. You're coming out to the payload. You're thinking, or you should be thinking, what do you need to be doing? How can you be impactful? How can you save this point? Oh, you have a tac visor. Awesome. What can stop your tac visor? Oh, the diva that just used her boost. Maybe you could pop it now. Try to help out your teammate over there. Try to kill this Lucio or Genji, I think this is. That would have been a pretty gold opportunity. Otherwise, the diva's coming back in, probably has her boost again really soon. Otherwise, I probably would have tried to get on high ground to use your tac visor. So I think you have 2 really good options right there. And you kind of stayed here. You were in range of the flashbang. They chased you. Your golden opportunity to use your tac visor is unfortunately gone. And there's not much you can do. Yeah, it was a really small window of opportunity, but you see how there were better options for you out there if you kind of just thought a little bit about how you could have best used your tac visor, or not even your tac visor, but even like where you should be in that situation. Like high ground, yes. Like trying to kill the squishies, even if it means your life because you guys have major spawn advantage, yes. Trying to stay alive as long as possible, contesting, yes. So like all of those things, like how can you do that best? Probably not staying right in front of the payload when they all jump you, where they all can jump you. So you think about Reaper for a little bit. So I think you kind of get the lesson here, is that you're doing the right things. I think you're playing well in terms of like where the enemy is, but I think you go on like your kind of solo adventures a lot of times, and your name is Captain Casual, so and you are in ranked play, but oh man, sorry, it's getting late. But yeah, think more about what you're doing in terms of where your team is, and trying to help them out best so they can help you out best. You guys gotta abuse and use each other. So here you're Reaper, but you go back to Soldier. We're just gonna talk about a few things here, not much left to really talk about because I think we got the major things. But here you push up cart. The other team is also holding the low ground, which is okay. Here, all throughout this first opening bit, why are you using the left side of the payload? As Soldier, if you're on this left side, you can only see this much, right? Like, look at this limited viewing space, field of vision. What if you're on the right side of the payload? You could see that much. Like, all this space right here, you could probably see. So I don't know why you're on the left side here. I feel like you just kind of just auto came here without thinking much. So there's 2 in your backline, go for them. Your whole team, just go for them. Good. So this is why attack is easier, especially I don't know why they're running Winston on defense or why you guys did. I mean, it works, but only if your team is super coordinated and super good. Um, yeah, but you guys kill him. That's good. But you see how like here's what happened. Your Winston, like the defending Winston jumped in, like how your Winston jumped in, and everyone rushed him. Like 6v1, who's gonna win that? Easy, easy, easy. So this is why attack usually people find it a little easier than defense. So this Lucio right here, this is just small aiming like mechanical stuff. You have some issues, but here automatically, I don't know why you're moving forward. Just back up. It's really hard to hit Lucio like up forward, especially when he's jumping around like crazy like that. That's a sloppy right click, but yeah. So you do back up, so that's good. I think you could have backed up a little more to make your aim a little bit easier, but that's fine. So here it is, a pocketed. What's that? I'm blinking out. Bastion with the Diva matrixing right in front of him, pocketed by Mercy a few seconds ago. Who do you attack? You have two options, A or B. Do you attack the Reaper or the Bastion, getting pocketed by two? The Reaper! But he wraith formed away, so it's alright. Winston jumps on you guys. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is what you guys should be doing, or like shouldn't be doing on defense, if that makes sense. So here you go after the Reaper. Tight corridors with the Reaper kind of scares me, but thankfully your Winston's here to help you out. So you see how like even having one more teammate with you just makes things so much easier. Like if that went really badly, like that maybe could have been a death for you, maybe, you know. But teamwork. This game's all about teamwork. Like fortunately and unfortunately. So here you guys are splitting them up. So this is what happened to you guys on defense also. So I think at this rank, to be honest, like people will be sort of uncoordinated and like things will be chaotic. People will trickle. Like these things will happen. Even like submaster, like high diamond, like people do that. So your job is to think about how can I best exploit that, and how can I best when that's happening to my team, how can I best mitigate that? So when that's happening, obviously you exploit it. Like if a Winston jumps in your backline, you do everything you can to kill him really quick. But on defense, when you guys are trickling and all of that, you can kind of help that out by just waiting. For example, here, so this is an example of just pushing in with your team. Here, you guys just got payload. There's 3 on cart, so most of your team's on cart, and you're out here lone. Do you go out? Yes or no? Choose your own adventure. No, but you do. You do. So here, I would have waited like 5-10 seconds. But you go out here. What are you hoping to accomplish? Get some ult off. Maybe, maybe get a kill. But see, if they had like someone who could jump on you, like that Diva, who just got her mech back, or like someone else, that would have been really bad for you. Thankfully, your Mercy and your Winston come up to try to help you. But again, the cart, the objective, the payload, like what helps you win, I mean, what is basically your win objective, isn't even up to like halfway yet. It's like just starting to push up. I would have waited until the cart's about like here-ish, like right before it goes under the bridge, to come out and pressure them. So here, the Winston already jumped in, maybe spurred on by your advances. So I don't know, did you kill Winston? Maybe. And then you go for this flank, which is good. So let's talk about this flank. It's amazing. You get 2 kills right here. Boom and boom. And so let's talk about why that worked. So why did that work? How did you kill 2 by yourself? Did you just carry the team? No. Your team carried you. So this is what I have like issues with DPS people. They're like, oh my gosh, I just got 2 kills, like I have gold medals, everything. And I mean, I'm not saying that this is you, but like this is why you might be thinking like it's so hard to climb. But think about why this play just worked. This play didn't work because you're amazing, although you are amazing, dude. It worked because your team is here making space and doing work in the front line so that you have the time and space to go to the back line and they're not focused on you. That's when flanking works. And it works. They're not even focused on you. You know, the Bastion's like, who do I kill? Do I kill the front line or do I kill this flanking soldier? Help me. And yeah, so I think this will be like the last big thing we do here in this VOD. But let's talk about this real quick again, because this is a big example, a huge example of playing with your team. So here again, your team is not with you. Do we go out or do we not? You went out, which is, you know, not the right decision. I'm just going to say that. Because you want your team to be here where the Rhine is, engaging with the other team when you go out. So say not, let's say alternate world, you waited like 5-10 seconds and the cart pushed up to like here, and then the teams start to engage. That's your golden opportunity to come take this high ground, get shots off behind the Rhine, even help pressure the Rhine, get shots on over him, like pressure like the top line, whatever. Like even here you could like go for the upstairs flank or whatever, but just wait. Why? Because you're playing with your team. So in terms of positioning, this is fine, but see, like if your Winston jumped in with you right there, like if your team was right there, that would have been beautiful. That would have been that would have been 2 kills right there, and that would have changed the game. Easy. Like you guys would have probably gotten the point just off that. So that's what I'm talking about. Here, I don't know why you give up high ground. In a 1v1 situation against D.Va, when you have your heal station on like, and then you did because you just used it, you'll win the 1v1 against D.Va hands down. Just keep firing shots into her face, reload whenever she matrixes, and you should be fine. Like worst case scenario, you have a heal pack right there. The Mercy even came to pocket you. Why did you drop and give up your high ground positioning? I don't know, but yeah, just try to think about these things a little bit more. Like that high ground positioning was gold. So you want to like really hold on to it before you give that up. Okay, so here even though you did get 2 kills, unfortunately, your Winston already died, and the rest of your team unfortunately just isn't able to hold that. So even though you did make a really good play here, it just wasn't the right time. Yeah, so just wrapping up, I think that basically wraps it up. What we have to learn here in this video is you thinking about where you are in relation to your team, and thinking about how even though you might be doing the right things, maybe you're not doing them at the right time, or even like being able to abuse the little bad things that happen around this rank, such as trickling. Definitely abusing that on attack. I feel like you did that really well. You guys, your team all targeted the Winston who jumped in, because you see, oh, big monkey who just jumped our back line, just kill him. Good, cool. But again, you want to be with your team at all times. So here I want to talk really quickly, moving forward. There's just one more situation where here, your team's not pushing up. Look at this mess right here. I can tell that you're frustrated. You don't really know what to do. If you go on high ground, the D.Va will come at you, and you can't really peek in like open distance either because of the bastion. So you feel like, what am I supposed to do? My team's just dying. Like I'm not able to do much. Feels bad, man. Life is rough. And for sure, the other team's making it rough. Ooh, here, don't go in tight quarters with Junkrat. Take high ground right here. Alright. Alright. So see here too. Like 2v1 situation against Bastion and D.Va, the best case scenario just happened. You killed one of them. But you're never gonna kill both unless, I don't know, miracle. But yeah, I mean, that's the point of this video. You did a lot of good things right, so I want you to hold on to those things. Like, you have a decent idea of like positioning in terms of high ground, like where you should be. It could be a little better just in terms of you thinking about soldier's kit. Like, where should I be to really maximize my range that I have? Not to the left of the cart, but to the right of the cart, where I had. But and not using that as a general rule, but just like, because obviously that's like not a good rule, but thinking about why. Why is it? It's because I want to use soldier's range. And thinking about things like that. Thinking about what can I do here? I have my ult. Who can stop me? D.Va, Reinhardt. Okay, team, can you pressure this D.Va? Or maybe I should just shoot at that D.Va first to like eat up her matrix or even get her out of the mech before I used my ult. There are a lot of situations where you just ulted and you had no idea where the diva was, or like you hadn't even pressured her at all. So make her use some of the defense matrix first, or even try to get her out of a mech. But usually I would just try to fire at her for like maybe like 10 seconds or so, and she like defense matrixes, and then I pop my ult after she like uses all of that. But other than that, like I said, like hold on to the good things, but really try to play with your team more. I don't think positioning was like the biggest, like the number one thing. I think the number one thing is thinking about your team. Your supports were dead half the time. Try to help them out more and really push with your team, if that makes sense. Like you don't, like you can go on your flanks, and you had like a good flank moment there, but even when you go on your flanks, make sure it's happening when your team is in the right place, if that makes sense. Yeah, so other than that, I hope you got something out of this. Again, if you have any questions or even suggestions or want to talk to me more, hit me up on the Discord and WaWa's Bootcamp, and I hope this helped, dude. See ya.